Hi.
Hi. So, did you watch Gilmore Girls yet?
No, so I watched the first, 30 minutes of the first episode, and it's miserable. I was like, it's so forced, and like, it made me really uncomfortable. It felt like watching The Office for the first time.
Yeah, I kind of forced myself to sit through the whole thing, so that was fun and really infuriating to get to the end of, but yeah.
Yeah, how did you do that?
I don't know. I think being a social justice warrior at the same time kind of helped, kind of got me through it. I took my rage out on innocent bystanders.
Well, I've been told a couple times from different people that if I'm not gonna watch, because I love the series despite, how ridiculously problematic it is, but I love the first series, and I've been told several times that if I'm not gonna force myself to sit through it, I should just sit down and watch the last one, apparently. Do you support that as well?
I do support that, yes. I think you should do that. Speaking of things that you should do, let's get on with the podcast.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Keeping it in line. All right, yeah.
Okay, so episode 1. It's been a whirlwind of a week to get here, I think.
Yeah, no, it was really intense, for sure. Yeah, so I'm Bailey, and I don't know, how do we do this? I just say where I was born in Texas. I don't really admit that to a lot of people right off the bat. I was born in Texas, and I lived there till I was 14, and then Germany for a few years, and then I graduated high school in England, and then lived in Washington the last 10 years up until actually almost exactly a year ago, Christmas Eve, when I came to visit my family in the Netherlands, and didn't leave. I just stayed.
Fair enough. I'm Zahirra, as most of you will already know. I've been in England for the last 13 years, and I'm Middle Eastern / Asian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we tell people why we need this podcast? And by we, I mean just the two of us.
Because we don't have anything else to do.
Oh yeah, clearly.
Okay, for me, I feel like doing this podcast is a pretty big deal because being a person of colour in the United Kingdom, I haven't really ever had any sort of platform apart from social media where I kind of just, push it to the max and kind of take my my brown pettiness out on anyone who dares to cross me. So this podcast is a way for me to kind of air my thoughts, I guess, and hopefully give some insight into why I do what I do.
Wow, your reasons are just so much better than mine. Yeah, because I don't have those reasons. I don't really have...
You're just really aggressive and you want everyone to hear you.
I'm very aggressive with just a lot of opinions that, I have no right to have a lot of them. But yeah, I feel really strongly that representation is a big deal, and that representation in media and politics and power should reflect the population, and it doesn't at all. So yeah, that's something that is really important to me. That's why I'm participating, although I do feel bad being the cisgendered white kid, but I mean...
Well, you're not exactly a reluctant participant,
no,
so why lie?
Not at all. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to pretend I don't want to do this at all.
I just want to say as well that even though I am kind of doing this for me, I'm mostly doing it because I realise that I have a lot of my own privilege as well. And I think doing this, I want to use it as a way to let others who are more oppressed than I am, who are more marginalised, to kind of come on and speak with us and let everyone else hear what's on their mind. I think this podcast will be a good way to do that as well, because there's so many people who need a platform.
Yeah, that's a super good point. Yeah, the whole guest aspect is definitely the driving factor for me as well, to aside from just kicking it with you. Yeah, the guest thing is a really big deal. And hopefully we'll be able to have people on that just do a good job of giving voice to people who've historically been more silenced than others. Okay, so real quick, I had a couple questions after we released the teaser episode. I had a couple people ask me if there's going to be like a section of the podcast about positive things. So like a couple points. First of all, to ask that, it's not offensive or wrong, but what you're doing when you ask, is there going to be a positive part, is saying implicitly that the rest is negative. And it's really not. I mean, there's a lot of shit that needs to change, and I think we're pretty good at calling that out. Yeah, but that doesn't have to be negative. And then additionally, the whole thing should be positive, because the message that we're trying to send is, if you're choosing to listen to this, that means you're probably already interested in it. And the thing is that the world of willingly opening your eyes to oppression and things like that, it's fucking lonely. It's shitty. It's isolated. It's really sad. So the whole point of this podcast is to say you're not alone in that, and here's what we've done, and here's what you can do, and to open ourselves up to more suggestions. So there's nothing negative at all here other than the problematic behaviors we're talking about. Kick rocks, pound sand, fuck off, eat shit, take a hike.
Get in the fucking sea. And that's what we're going to call this segment of the podcast, by popular demand. So we're just going to go through some things that have bothered us lately that makes us think, get in the fucking sea. And I'm going to start with the phrase, we need to stand united, or we need unity when it comes to feminism, because that is total bullshit. And anybody who says that needs to get in the fucking sea. The rest of us shouldn't have to set aside our own needs in the name of unity or white feminism, and stepping over marginalised voices to pursue a narrow vision of equality is not a cause worth uniting over, especially when it's in the name of white feminism. So get in the fucking sea.
Get in the sea. I can't say it like you. Yeah, no, fuck that. Absolutely. Yeah. Mine isn't really like topical, because I don't know that she's done anything problematic lately. She's just a problematic human, and like, yeah, and it hasn't even really like bothered me lately, except what it means in like the broader scope of things, right? So like Amy Schumer, I mean, like, just, yeah, Amy Schumer. And like, the thing is that, like, I think that it's one of the products of, like, really investing a lot of yourself into learning about oppressive systems. But one of the things that comes along with it is, like, you just hate a lot more things. And you could see a lot more for what it is. And so, yeah, Amy Schumer used to be my problematic fave. Like, she was great, and I liked her, and she did all these funny things. And then all of a sudden it was like, no, you're just problematic. And so, yeah, I mean, there's the incident with the tweet that went out, the like racist tweet, which I should have pulled up before we did this, but I don't have it. But it really doesn't matter, because the point is that people like Amy Schumer, and by that I mean cisgendered white people, have a real tendency to either call themselves or own being called like a role model in some way, right? And so Amy Schumer was, for whatever reason, a feminist like figurehead for a minute, and it's unacceptable because she stays silent about really important things, and that is in itself a good enough reason to get in the fucking sea. Like, you should be speaking up if you take that role and that's something that you're interested in. Like, hell yes, and then you start talking.
Yeah, I can't get behind Amy Schumer at all. Just, I don't get the hype.
I mean, she used to be funny, like...
She was never funny.
No, okay, yeah. I used to find her funny, is the thing. Yeah, like, that's a difference for sure. Like, yeah, but no, it's yeah, she's not funny at all.
No. My next thing is it's quite far away from the topic of Amy fucking Schumer. It's cis white people telling individuals from marginalised groups that they should be calling in instead of calling out. Nope. Get in the fucking sea. I can't speak for anyone else, but I've been dealing with white cis nonsense basically my entire fucking life. I decide when I call in and when I call out. Trust me, I know when and where to use the calling in system, and frankly, when I step into a discussion, especially about race, it's probably past the point of calling in, so get in the fucking sea with that.
I definitely see that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely, no. Telling anyone how to...
Well, it's tone policing, isn't it? It's completely policing
absolutely.
someone else's tone. And, you can't do it. You can't do that and call yourself an ally or...
Well, you can't call yourself an ally anyway. That's fucking ridiculous.
No. But, yeah. So, to do that, especially to someone who faces systemic oppression that you don't, just get out of here with that. Kick rocks.
That's no, totally.
So another thing on my list, because I'm so aggressive, I just think get in the fucking sea to pretty much everything, really. Non-binary erasure. Why do we feel the need to categorize everything into 2 boxes? It just doesn't make sense. There are more than 2 types of food, more than 2 types of colours, more than 2 types of trees. I read an article from Everyday Feminism that puts it really well. Can you imagine if we only recognised 2 types of trees, say oak and birch, then a pine tree comes along and we're all like, nope, pine trees don't exist. You're clearly an oak. The gender binary is just as limited. It recognises only 2 genders, which erases anyone who doesn't fit in as solely male or female. Non-binary erasure is like pretending that pine trees don't exist, but in actuality, we have been around since the beginning of time. And another thing as well, to add on to that, language that erases trans and non-binary folks in general, such as the phrase vaginally blessed humans as a cipher for women, get in the fucking sea. Oh my god. Not all people with vaginas are women, and not all women have vaginas. So, yeah, it just doesn't even make sense to me.
It's It's so frustrating too, because that's not something that I could speak to like that directly, but just in the process of trying to get everyone to use inclusive language, like in any forum, trying to get people to use inclusive language is like fucking herding cats. It's horrible. And it makes no sense, because to me it's like, I remember not having certain language that was like, I remember not having access to certain words that I do now, and like not knowing how to use certain words. And I could safely tell you that was a more uncomfortable experience than learning how to use the right language and fucking up and getting called on it. Like, of course that sucks and it's uncomfortable, but it's much better to have more words. Like, how is that not?
Like, why would you? I get that a lot of people can't see past their privilege, especially before your privilege has been highlighted to you or brought up, because we've all been there. But once it's been brought up, how can you still think, oh no, I'm not going to use that language, it's either or?
Right, yeah. How does it not occur to you that when you're saying
erasing
women,
an entire group of people, not things, or
and not just that, like, it's not just the erasure part, but like, it's like, how do you continue on using problematic language and not think of how many people in that room you're hurting at that time? Like, what? Anytime I say something and like catch myself and I like fuck up, like, I tend to leave it out. I definitely think that the culture around mistakes is just really, really toxic, and
it is.
It should change.
It makes no sense, because since I've come across so many different types of people, and since I've been unpacking my own shit, I want to be called out. Why would you not want to learn? Why?
Right.
It just doesn't make any sense.
And so, exactly. And like, even when I get called on things, then for a long time that there was like, I felt driven to like delete it or get rid of it. And I think that that's also just really fucking wrong. I mean, it depends on what you're saying. It tends to be the case that anything that's not intentionally hurtful is potentially a pretty big learning experience. Like, learning experiences should never come at the expense of anyone with that lived oppression, for sure. Like that's not acceptable to me. But I do think that there's like huge value in like being like, oh, look at this. And whenever I've been in a position where I like did something bad enough where I was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to delete that, then I think that the only reasonable step is then to acknowledge it separately and say, whoa, yesterday I did XYZ and here's why it was bad and here's how we're moving forward or whatever. And it's also like cocky as fuck because I'm just assuming that people saw it or that they give a shit. But at the same time, it's like, whatever. Like, I mean, I have such a limited role in something like that like I'm going to do whatever I can. But yeah, mistakes are fucking awesome. Like mistakes are exactly where everyone should be all the time, honestly. Like if you're not making mistakes, then you're not doing anything.
As long as people are learning from them, because I've come across so many people who make these mistakes, acknowledge that they're making these mistakes, and just don't bother doing anything to correct themselves. And
that's true.
That also needs to get in the fucking sea.
Yeah, it does. Right? Yeah, no, it does. You might as well be saying, I'm not racist, but It's like, nope, shut it down. That's enough.
Shut that shit down.
This is Can You Not? Can You Not is where we unpack parts of social justice activism that, in our not at all humble opinions, need fixing. There's kind of a risk of alienating people who are interested in activism by doing this, because we're speaking to our experiences as people who've been doing this for a while already, and we're discussing what a challenge it can be to do this kind of work. So, in an attempt to assuage that risk, we are using this segment to be really petty about it. I mean, also, we just like being petty, but...
Yeah, everybody knows that already, so that's why you're here. So, my Can You Not for this episode is people claiming to be allies who then use mental health against people who are oppressed. Just bear with me. I'm going to go into it. So I can only speak about my own experience, but I'm just going to go right in. Don't tell me that I can't call out other people for being problematic or not being inclusive, because it could affect their mental health. When, for example, the day after we voted for Brexit, I was way too scared to leave my house because I was worried that some white supremacist was going to attack my 2-year-old son in public just because he's brown. Who is fighting for my mental health then? And who's fighting for the mental health of anyone who isn't cisgender or white or straight? Who's fighting for all of us who feel unsafe to the point where it affects our mental health when we're around problematic people online or in real life or whatever? Also, doing that reinforces the stigmatization of mental health as a general concept in our society, because a cis white person who commits violent hate crimes is usually labelled as mentally unstable. So if we should allow people to get away with shitty behaviour on grounds of mental health online, then where do we draw the line? Is there a line? White people make me feel unsafe, and a little thing like a safety pin doesn't really change that. So for some privileged white person to turn around and go, hey, you're being a bully right now, when I'm calling out someone for generally being shitty and saying things that can harm people, is really unbelievable to me. People of colour have always been silenced, so I shouldn't be surprised, and I'm not really, but it is quite unbelievable, especially when the same person can then turn around and call themselves an ally. Like, yeah, no, you're the exact opposite of an ally. You're facilitating white supremacy. I know that's probably hard to hear, especially if you think you're an ally, but I'm at a point where I'm comfortable with prioritising my own mental health over white fragility. You don't get to shut down individuals from marginalised groups and the people who are actually helping us, and then call yourself an ally. It's not for you to tell anyone else, especially people of colour, who or what intersectionality is for. So, can you not?
How come being called racist or like having your words or actions called out for racism, like why is that? Why would anyone think that that is in any way comparable to racial oppression?
Because they haven't experienced that racial oppression, obviously. So the worst thing for them is they consider themselves to be, you know, like lefties, or, you know, because identifying as a feminist is quite, I don't want to say radical thing, but it is really, isn't it? The whole stigma behind the world and everything. Yeah. So for someone to call themselves a feminist and then to have, or even a liberal, and then to be called out for something so completely not liberal or completely unfeminist, that's like more offensive to them than the actual oppression, because they haven't experienced that oppression and they think that being called out for something like that is in a way oppression when it's really, really not.
No, that's a good point. So it's almost like, yeah, so like when I go in and call people racist, that means that like to them, I think the whole thing is that since the system is kind of set up so that liberals or feminists or anything radical is not the status quo, since that's how the system works, it means that they've worked to get there, so they probably consider it part of their identity and who they are, so essentially you're attacking their identity in their mind.
Yeah, in their mind.
Right.
Because that's the only frame of mind they have at that point.
If we follow through on that point, then being liberal tends to be parts of people's identity, right? Yeah, if you follow that through, then that means that it's not one of the identities that they are born with, but one that they've like worked for. And yeah, it's a challenge. And I think that puts those people in a position where they definitely feel better than other people. In my experience, liberals always think the answer is turn off your TV and read a book. And it's like, yeah, okay, well, you're leaving out like a bunch of people with mental health. You're leaving out like dyslexia or this, that, like there's so many things that you're just like blatantly ignoring in the name of being inclusive and equal. Like I don't know, that doesn't really sit right with me. But so they tend to have that kind of persona. And then along with that comes something that I find really fucking disturbing, which is that liberalism feels like super complacent to me. It's all like even now, you know, when a bunch of people are just like totally up in arms about Cheeto fart, it's like people on the liberal side, they're upset because they don't want to see that. Not that it exists. They're upset that like they're now being forced to look at white supremacy and capitalism bullshit and patriarchy and all those things. Like they don't want to see it, and that's why they're upset. They're not upset that it exists, just that they're looking at it. And that means that when people like me, who feel like violently passionate about that, want to get shit done, then they're met with opposition, not just from the literal opposite side, but also from people who supposedly share our goals, right? Because then liberals are all like, don't break windows. It's just, you're stooping to their level. And you know what? No, we're not. Like, no one is stooping. That's fucking bullshit. Like, it's such tone policing, oppressive garbage. It's fucking nonsense. Yeah. I mean, I will break anything in the name of like not having fascism. Like, sounds good to me.
Yeah. Yeah. How can anybody think, no fascism? That doesn't benefit me.
Or how can anyone think like, oh, that's stooping to their level, and then that's a bad thing? Well, like, no, sorry, but if you're gonna make internment camps, I'm gonna get violent. Like, that's gonna happen. You think that you're gonna make a couple laws and they're gonna stop making internment camps? You fucking no, I can't even deal. I will start like name calling real quick. I get so mad about it, but it's ridiculous. And then, you know, like one of the things too that you could just like follow it through there's so many like branches and roads to go down with it, because
it's pretty infuriating to say the least.
And like, I mean, clearly when we're fighting for anti-racist cause, like the most important thing is that we protect science, and like we need to just acknowledge that. See, that's what I meant. Like, why do I have to follow it down that road? Like, that's so fucking irrelevant. But it's just like, yep. Yeah. So again, back to your point about being nice and calling in and making sure you're appealing to people's kindness and whatever. Yeah, about that. If that worked, do you fucking think we would still live in the oppressive systems that we do? Because I really don't. You think people haven't been trying kindness since the beginning of time.
And cis white people who claim to be allies keep using things like people like Martin Luther King Jr.
God damn it.
as an example of why Black Lives Matter movement shouldn't be using violence and all that. But at the end of the day, he still got assassinated. So what's the fucking point? What exactly is the point of bringing him up?
Yeah, no, it's that's, and not only that, but they fail to give any fucking context. Like, yeah.
Because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and...
Well, like, go ahead, sorry.
I don't want to overuse the term, but, like, those people can get in the fucking sea as well.
Yeah, no, seriously. Oh, the list gets longer every time, like, either of us opens our mouths. It's like, no, I just thought of someone else. Okay.
Okay, so we're talking to our friend Agatha right now, and she's just told us a really good story about about how she met
how she's famous. Yeah, how she's famous.
How I'm famous.
How she's friends with Justin, not Bieber.
So, first of all, there's only one important Justin in Canada right now, and that is our leader, Justin Trudeau. I don't really remember the exact specifics of this event, but at some point between the year 2010, let me say to 2012, I met Justin Trudeau. And I have a picture with him as proof. And I do find it quite disrespectful that he didn't acknowledge our friendship when he became Prime Minister.
So
it was very rude. I feel very disrespected by that. But yes, I am famous by proxy, so you guys, you're welcome. Like, just me being on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, to get
really,
a celebrity on our first episode is amazing.
It really is, yeah.
Canadian celebrity, so it's not even just anyone.
I mean, that's just something extra, so...
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, what did you want to talk about today?
What did I want to talk about?
Yeah, apart from being a celebrity, you know, there must be things that are on your mind right now.
Where should I start? I think that's a real question.
Okay, so what's been your biggest can you not this week?
Yeah, I want to know that.
Oh, my biggest can you not? Can you not? Can you not? Well, okay, I mean, this morning I accidentally wandered onto a certain, I'm not going to name this individual, a certain individual's Facebook news show, and I watched one of her videos, and I just have to say, people with platforms that are spreading these, because she was talking about feminism, and I don't know, I don't want to talk too much about it, but let's just say yes, can you not, to her, without directly naming her, and people like her.
So it was like, but what was she doing? She was like trying to like define a very specific type of feminism.
Yeah, so I mean the whole point that she went on was that feminism, we should be worrying about Aleppo and not worrying about Wonder Woman. The UN's priority is wrong. And then she brought up Lena Dunham and something. It was very convoluted. And I couldn't really make heads or tails of it. And but I think a lot of people don't really understand what feminism is, because her main point was that feminists don't have a united message or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, and that's the same thing that also what that guy Piers Morgan, that's the same kind of stuff that he goes. Those are the same kind of tangents that he goes on,
right?
Not really understanding what exactly they're talking about.
No, I know. That shit makes me just cringe so hard. It's like you want all feminists to have a united message. Like, I'm sorry, when's the last time you talked to one Baptist and asked them what all Baptists believe? Are you like, get your shit together? Like, what the fuck?
I know that.
I hate
Yeah.
that.
The whole unity thing just seriously needs to get in the sea, like for
Yeah,
real.
it does. Yes.
Yeah, but yes, I think can you not just I just need to just sit in my echo chamber for a little while longer and just, just enjoy it, because it's really nice. It's really nice in here. And sometimes when you go out into the world, you see a lot of crazy stuff.
Yeah. But I feel like also that, like, I don't know, there's not much of an echo chamber either, because ultimately what ends up happening is, I mean, not people are forced into listening, and listening isn't comfortable. Like, so you're not, like, I feel like it's not an echo chamber because, like, you're still taking an active role and, like, making yourself uncomfortable. But it is nice to not have to deal with white ladies' mental health. Sorry about it.
Yeah,
sorry, I'm tired of that fight.
What? But Bailey, you're saying that white women's mental health shouldn't come above everything else?
That's
like literally
exactly
everything
what I'm
else?
saying. Yeah, no, I know.
Wow.
It's crazy. It's kind of revolutionary, but yeah, that's what I'm saying exactly.
I mean, I'm speechless right now, so.
That is revolutionary. I don't even. Wow. I don't know. That's probably the most controversial thing you're ever gonna say on this podcast.
I mean, this is only.
I would be really disappointed if that was.
Yeah, first episode, and you're already done with the controversial stuff. That's kind of not what I want to hear, but. Okay, so today we've dealt with quite a bit of Mayo feels. You and I, Agatha.
I was mostly
Yes.
just reading. And when I finally did decide to comment, Mr. John deleted his whole thread.
Yeah,
so thank you.
That was fun.
That's a good can.
No, a lot of people have feelings online. One thing you can count on with the internet.
It's great. I love seeing everyone's feelings, especially about cultural appropriation. Yeah.
Yep. I think what we're missing here is, I think we just really just people whose cultures are appropriate really just need to sit back and just listen to what just listen to what everyone is saying. Like, if just because you say that it's appropriation doesn't mean that it actually is, because everyone has their own opinions, right? So why should we be forcing? Actually, no, we're not even forcing anyone. Let me just go back. That what I was doing there wasn't working. But I don't understand why white people are so pressed about articles talking about cultural appropriation, and when people spend
before they even read them, right?
Oh yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
People spend time like writing these great articles detailing reasons why you shouldn't be wearing locks or cornrows, or wearing a dashiki to Coachella. There are a lot of articles about it out there, but it just seems like people aren't reading these articles, or I don't know.
They're just not taking any of it in.
Not taking any of it in, and I think, like, one thing that I do think about all of this is, it's, no one is saying you can't actually wear these things. So you can just go out and, with your cornrows and wear your dashiki and, all those things. You can do all of those things, but then at the same time, you can't expect everyone to thank you for it. You have to, like, make your peace, like,
right,
with exactly what you want.
Right. I feel like it's like a give and take. It's like, okay, well, if you want to wear cornrows, then you're gonna have to let people call you racist and deal with it and suck it up, like, because that's
Exactly.
what, like, that's the give and take of it. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's like you can go get locks in your hair, or you can wear whatever you want. But if people call you out on it, you can't be mad. especially if you've read all these articles and or commenting angrily online about it. Yeah. And if people don't want to be your friend, you can't blame them for that either. So
yeah, so you can choose to be a total racist. Just don't get upset when nobody wants anything to do with you for it.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, so that's why I don't understand some of these comments. It's like, you can go ahead and do these things, because people are saying, why are we not allowed to do this? Why are people banning complete hairstyles?
That's what John kept saying.
Right? It's my hair. I can do whatever I want. So go do it.
Stop commenting and go do it.
Yeah.
And then post pictures for us to come call you racist.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's not that they want to be able to wear those things, because they already can. It's that they want to be able to wear them and silence you about it. Like,
exactly.
It's so fucked up.
Yeah.
It is, man. Like,
it's so fucked up.
Silence you about it. It's like, should we be thankful that, should we be thankful about it? Should we say, oh, thank you so much for taking our things of cultural significance, and just thank you for integrating them, assimilating them into your own.
Because you're so unoriginal.
Yes.
Well, clearly we should all be thanking Kylie Jenner and the Kardashians for, just bringing all of this to light and really, really putting people of color on the spotlight, I think.
Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah. Oh, while we're still kind of around it, I just have to say, if they're to any white people listening, if you fucking make the argument about not brushing your hair or whatever and it ends up in a dreadlock, I will fucking hunt you down, and I will flood your inbox with pictures of mine when it did that. Because guess what? It was depression, and it wasn't cute, and it was horrible, and I had to cut off all my fucking hair. And guess what? I probably still offended people, and that was what I had. That's what I have to live with. That was
wasn't even intentional.
Right. In my depression was in fact an act of white supremacy. But for real though, I mean, get over it. I can't that when people bring that up in any conversation around locks or anything like it, I'm no, let's shut this down right fucking now, because it's so ridiculous.
Yeah, someone did bring that up in the thread. They said, so if I don't even remember exactly what they said, but essentially they were just illustrating that they don't even know, because these comments have been deleted. So
wow.
Yeah, that's
What was it on? Everyday Feminism or something like that, right?
Yeah, it was.
You said that someone did bring it up about white people hair.
Oh, right. Yeah. She was saying, I forgot exactly what she said, but she said something about not combing or washing her hair, and how can that be appropriation?
I just found it.
I'd just like to say that we were arguing with a Phoebe and a Rachel, and I don't know where the rest of the gang was, so there.
I feel like you're being really reverse racist right now.
I mean, that's just me, so can't really help it.
Yeah. You know what, though, full disclosure, when you were saying, when you were talking about how people just jump on and start commenting without having read the article, I gotta cop to the same thing, because when I see someone, especially if it's especially a hot button issue like cultural appropriation, and if it's coming up a lot in the same space, then I see a cultural appropriation article pop up, then I'm gonna go straight to the comments and find the problematic assholes and start just doing that, because but I'm just saying, I'm also guilty of that.
Well, so am I sometimes, but then again, how many cultural appropriation articles have you actually read?
A lot.
Exactly. So
yeah.
There's only so much that can be said without...
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
I have to admit, I didn't read this article for a very long time.
Wow, you guys are really pandering to my white feelings right now.
No, but it's the truth. I even said it. I was I haven't read the article yet. But before I commented, and it got deleted like 10 seconds later. I did read the article, but I didn't actually need to read it to respond to a lot of these comments because these people didn't read the article either.
Yeah. Oh, another fun one is historical references to other people, historical references to people wearing dreadlocks, like Vikings and shit. I just like, oh my god, I lose it every time.
Oh my, yeah, I literally lose my shit whenever someone brings up that argument now.
It's so dumb.
It's so silly, like.
Oh yeah, hey, Agatha, I think it was you who told me earlier. Actually, it definitely was you who mentioned that, you mentioned that,
what?
That challenging human being who said really racist things about Michelle Obama was getting her job back.
Oh, yeah. Oh, oh yeah. Yeah, I saw that today and I was like, yeah, this is actually my can you not. This, like, why do racist people keep getting away with racist things? And, like, the thing about it is, so this woman, she holds a position in an organization that's funded by the government. I don't know if it's a state or something, but it's publicly funded, right? And she made a Facebook comment. I don't remember the exact comment, but it was just something like. Well, anyway, in the comment, she called Michelle Obama an ape in heels. And then when this came out, people were understandably very upset about it. And then reports came out that she had been fired. And then just a couple days ago, they're like, just kidding, she wasn't actually fired. She was just on suspension.
Yeah, I just pulled up
and
the
she'll
article.
Be back
so yeah,
next week.
Pamela Ramsey Taylor. Wow, that is a fucking horrible. That's just a racist name. I think like the whole thing. She runs a local what?
Trifecta.
Mm-hmm.
It's a trifecta, right? Racist trifecta.
It's like
3 names,
and it's like I feel like generally speaking, people who have first names as their last names tend to be really problematic. And Taylor, come on. So she runs a local nonprofit group in Clay County, West Virginia, and she made horrible comments, and then and now she's going back to work.
Yeah, she's going back to work, and I just want to say, okay, I'll go back to that woman with her Facebook news show. Why? She says she's not racist, right? But then why isn't she highlighting people like this, calling out people like this who are, getting away with racist stuff? I mean, I'm not here to judge how someone's using their platform or whatever, but it just seems to me like, I don't know, it's kind of hush-hush. But I do have to say, because I did Google the organization she works for, and like a lot of people have been giving it 1 star, complaining about this, saying she should not get her job back, and yeah, so I don't know what's gonna happen, but I mean, she should have just been fired. Just that's it,
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, for sure. Like, there's incidences of like, especially in the States, there's like plenty of examples of like brown people, not even, quote, the right kind of brown people, but the brown people following Facebook groups getting fired from jobs and shit like that. And it's like, your bar is set real low, and then this happens. So yeah, but I do like what you're talking about with the 1 star reviews and stuff like that. I'm like, I fucking like, I mean, we can't quite get into this, but like, I hate capitalism the most. And so it's really funny and like heartwarming to me to see capitalism used against people that way. I'm like, get it, like, do it. It's the only good use for it.
Yeah, but yeah, I saw that and I was like, maybe the people can enact the change they want to see, but it's just really sad to see, that this was even an option, that this is even an option, and like next week she can go back to work, like just like a little slap on the wrist, like, oh, just change your Facebook settings. That because that's pretty much all that it is.
Did you ever watch Parks and Rec? It's like that guy who's constantly in sex scandals and like and he's like fully owning them, like yeah, I had gay sex in Brazil with 6 women, and then like and then he's in a press conference and then proceeds to go directly to work after. It's like, wait, I mean, not that I give a shit about sex scandals, clearly, but like it's just the double standard is that's frustrating.
Yeah. I don't know, like all these allies and things, these people who are hashtag not racist, where are they? You know, they're really quiet. They've been really quiet about it. Most of the people I've been seeing talking about this are people of color. You know, all those other people, I don't know, they just kind of moved on to something else.
The phrase not racist, it's like, I mean, there are like there are so many reasons it's wrong to say I'm not racist out loud ever, but but ultimately, like, my biggest pet peeve about it is that you shouldn't be not racist, you should be anti-racist. Like, you need to be like strictly defining yourself.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, if you ask anyone, I don't think anyone would actually admit to being racist. Do you guys think that there are people out there that would admit to being racist? Like, you go up to a racist, this person, maybe they're wearing like, they just got out of a Klan meeting, and you ask them, are you racist? Do you think they would say yes or no?
Well, have you not seen the Britain First page on Facebook? Oh, no, I'll link you to that later.
Okay.
I can still see it, I just can't comment, and it's so infuriating. I think as well, like, I got banned for something that wasn't even that good. I think I said something like, white is right, and they figured out that I was trolling. So they were like, alright, ban that. I could have done so much better. I'm so disappointed.
A racist piece of shit.
I could have, but I didn't. I went for the sarcasm, and I regret it every day.
Yeah, you wasted your ban.
But so but that's a good question, because like I feel like I admit to being racist, and like everyone that I know kind of does, but like, I mean, not as in it's a like active choice, but I mean, you know what I mean. But like,
no, I don't know what you mean. Like, explain how racist you are, please.
I mean, I can. It's like not a big deal. I just like I don't want to like applaud myself at all, but
no, it's okay.
But I think that there's a difference between what you're talking about and what I'm talking about, but there's not really like the language. I guess that like implicit bias is kind of the difference, but also I fully believe that racist things need to be called racist, so, you know.
But I mean, I guess like if you have the introspection or whatever, the capacity to reflect and acknowledge that you are racist, you have like, you know, some internalized racism going on in there. Yeah, those are not the people that you'd be asking,
right,
whether they're racist or not.
It's just like whatever. I just can't figure out how you get from one to the other either, you know? Because I remember I do remember like I remember times in my life where I said I'm not racist, like for sure, like or not even I'm not racist necessarily, but like someone would call something that I did racist and I'd be like, that wasn't racist. But it's like, yeah, I mean, clearly there's some kind of like shift that happens, but maybe we should ask those people who wrote the safety pin article.
I mean, yeah, and I mean, someone did call you Rachel Dolezal, so.
It's true. So that is like the ultimate.
Yeah.
It's like it just makes me feel so good inside. Like, yeah. It's like, what an American hero, you know? Like.
Well, that's good to know. Well, she is writing an autobiography now, isn't she? About the racism that she experienced whilst living as a black woman. Like, what even... Who gives these people book deals?
How do we get one?
Seriously, how easy is it to get a book deal? Well, you're already on the right path of being a Dolezal,
exactly.
So...
I mean, like someone on the internet called me Rachel Dolezal, and
Yeah.
you'll never believe what happened next.
Here's the racism I experienced after being called Rachel Dolezal.
That's it. Like that's your pitch. You just go pitch it to the book people, and they'll say,
Right,
hey.
cool.
They'll be throwing. Yeah, they'll be
Well, I
throwing
gotta get
it
on
at
that.
you. Be fine.
Or you could always self.
Yeah, there's a lot of respect in that industry, I think. Yeah.
I mean, you could get a press and like really go for it.
I was just thinking ebook.
No, you've got to have hard copies because then they can really get into the Dolezal experience. So,
Yeah. 2017. Look out! Bailey's writing a book. 2017.
I'm
Get
sorry,
ready.
but I'm not going to be able to read it. I'm going to tell you right now.
Even if you sent it to me, like if it was a free book, I would not read it. Also,
Would you just use it as like kindling
for my fire, like a door stopper, because sometimes the wind pushes the door, so you need something nice and sturdy to put under the door. I think the book would be good for that. Make sure send me a hardcover copy, okay? Like just
No, of
just
course,
for that
of
reason.
course. I would never.
Yeah, don't skimp
yeah.
out.
Right, so with a name like SJW Killjoys, I'm sure you can figure out that social media is a really big deal to us. So if you'd like to follow us, which you totally should because we have some fucking hilarious memes. Sorry about it. We are at SJW Killjoys on Twitter and Instagram, and then SJW Killjoys is just our Facebook page. You can pretty much search most social media for SJW Killjoys and find us.